Hi everyone, it's Ketan here from Enterprise Lab and welcome to another edition of the League of Disruptors show. 2017 has broken out amazingly. Last week we had Vanessa Tolbot, we had two Allens, we went from Australia to the UK to the US, and this week I've got a power puck, but it's for the ladies. It's all about the ladies. So, coming up later this week we have Raymond, and we're going to be talking about HR, human resources, and getting the career that you want. But today is all about inner confidence. Today is all about flourishing out to who you want to be in 2017, and more importantly 2017 in the sense of how are you going to sell yourself. And for that I had the one and the only Karmin Meckael on today. Karmin, good evening and welcome to League of Disruptors show. How are you?
Yay! I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm grateful, and I'm really excited to be on this show. Thank you so much, Ketan. You're doing phenomenal work. It's really an honor. So I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, and thank you for being able to take the time and come on. I mean, you were just saying off screen before we started that 2017 it's a new push for you. You've got so many dynamic changes. I can see also already through the social activities you've got so much coming up. You've got your workshops and all sorts of stuff going on. So we've got to thank you as well for taking time out to come onto the show. So I think for some of our viewers out there probably who are going to be joining us, they know who you are, but for those that don't know who you are, it'd be really good for you to give us a little bit of an insight into who is Karmin and how did you get to where you are today?
Amazing, excellent. So you're probably asking yourself, who's this crazy girl talking about selling and about confidence? So to give you a little bit of background, I am originally from Sudan, which is a country in Africa.
Yeah.
Was born there, and I left Sudan when I was 3 years old. So after this, my parents went to live in Germany. Mm-hmm. So we lived in Germany for 17 years. And around 10 years ago, I came to the UK. Here's the thing. I came to the UK. I didn't speak one word English. Okay, I was really bad in school. My English classes didn't pay attention. I thought, I don't need this language. It's okay. I can be lazy. Came to this country, couldn't speak nothing. It was so bad. I didn't have any money and I didn't have any job. So I was very desperate. I was like, that's a great start in a new country. My very first job was a waitress in an Italian restaurant here in Brighton, in the UK. For some of you know Brighton's beautiful. So my very first job was in an Italian restaurant. And I got fired on my first day because I went to a table and they asked me, do you have a fork and knife? And I was like, went to the boss, like, what's fork and knife? And he said to me, get out of there. I didn't even get paid for the 4 hours that I worked there.
Wow.
So, yes. And that was my start in the UK. And from this day, actually, I had a decision to make. I said, okay, I'm either going to let this push me down, or I know there's something inside of me. I don't know what it is yet. I had no clarity. I had no confidence. I had nothing when I started, but I knew that I was here to do something. And I made it my mission to follow one step after the other. So moving forward, now 10 years later, I'm a sales and confidence trainer, an upcoming author of the book called Stop Selling, Start Connecting, worked with one of the largest events promoting company, my career went into the events industry. So I've been working in the events industry for 10 years, specifically personal development events for between 4 and 5 years. And I worked for the largest events promoting company and was more the behind the scenes kind of person because I wanted to create experiences for people. So I never woke up a day and said, I want to be a speaker or a coach. That I didn't know that I would be doing what I would be doing today. But opportunities moved me forward, and I made it my mission to master the art of selling, to fall in love with sales. And the thing that most people are scared of, and I was scared of, I went into it, and that got me to where I am today. So now I'm helping many people, and it's fun. Yeah, that's the short story summarized.
And look at that, always a smile on the face. It's interesting you talk about Sudan. I was doing some work out in Sudan 3 years ago, actually, in Khartoum. I've been working with on entrepreneurship over that side, and I've been working they set up a TV show called Mashuri, which is my project, and I've been training a lot of the finalists. It's a bit like Dragon's Den and Shark's Tank kind of
that's
stuff.
Awesome.
I mean, such a vibrant place with people that have so much to give. What's interesting, you came over to the UK, couldn't speak the language at all. I mean, there must have been long periods of isolation for you in there. I mean, not being able to communicate effectively. I mean, I know you gave the example of the fact the first job you were at, someone asked for a fork and knife. The fact that you could pronounce fork and knife back to your boss at that moment in time is already an advancement in that respect. But just take me through a little bit about how you felt when you came over. I mean, there is the excitement of moving from one country to another, but there's also this kind of intimidation and fear. But what was going through your mind and through your heart at that moment when you first arrived here in the UK?
That's a great question. To be honest with you, I didn't want to come here to the UK. I got forced by my parents. So I had all my life planned out, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be in Germany. I will be working in the media, that kind of direction."
Yeah.
So I kind of made my own plans, but my parents said, "Just try it. There will be an opportunity for you. Just come with us for a holiday." So they made the holiday look so nice. I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever. I'll stay then." So the challenges that I faced during that time, if I understood your question right, it was that start. I felt like I was pushed into the cold water, not able to swim and trying to swim.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest blessing. One of the biggest challenges that I faced early in my career, that was my biggest blessing. Because of this, I was forced every single day to go out. I was so desperate to make money. I was so desperate to have a job. So I printed out my CV. Every single day, I went to the same street. And I don't know if you guys know Brighton. If you know Brighton, do you?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah. It's not a big town. It's quite cute, very small. But I went up and down the street with 100 CVs. Sometimes I applied to the same place, a retail or a bar job, twice, 3 times. People there thought I'm crazy, but I was so desperate. And that taught me, I was so consistent. I would do whatever it takes just to get a job.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that, Karmin. Sorry to cut in there, but I think the reason why I asked the question is there's a lot of people that want to do certain things,
Yes.
but they come from an environment where I wouldn't say they're spoiled, but they're complacent. They're set in their ways. Especially for those, and we're going to be talking more about the work that you do with people. Especially those
Yes.
that have jobs already. They feel like, I really want a business and stuff like this, and I want to do
Yes.
I want the freedom and stuff. But I don't want to lose the complacency of the check and stuff. You started your life pretty much, I wouldn't say in desperation, but it's more of there was nothing. You had nothing to lose. You had all to gain. The fact that when we're talking about what's interesting about what you say here is the fact that you printed your CV and you were foot patrolling up and down the same high street, going into some of these places multiple times, and yes, people do think you're a bit crazy, but that demonstrates how much you want something. What happened in the sense that eventually someone gave you a break in that respect? And I suppose what I'm getting to here is that as much as you are where you are today with what you do you still have, does that edge of rawness in the fact of the drive, the determination, I wouldn't say desperation, but more in the sense of this is what I want, this is what I've got, I'm not going to take no for an answer type of mentality, does that still stick with you today?
Absolutely, and it's great. I love this question so much because it's something that I actually thought about today, but at the time I did not know how to explain it or what it was.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: most of us are feared. We're scared of fear, right? We are scared of pain. But the beautiful thing is when you have a choice, when actually we can use fear and pain as our motivator. And I think this is what I've done in my early ages, because I felt pain when my parents had to pay something for me. I felt pain when I had to rely on my family, my parents, on somebody, which is nice, it's a blessing that I can do so, but I didn't feel comfortable. I wanted to be the Miss Independent, right? So I was like, no, I like to do my hair. I'm an expensive woman, so I need to afford myself. And this is, I think I made a conscious choice to use pain and fear as a motivator. So now I get asked a lot to speak on stages. When I first started, literally over a year ago, I've spoken before a little bit, but one of the biggest humiliating things that I've done on stage was I froze in front of 300 people.
Wow.
Yes, I couldn't speak, I couldn't tell one word. So I did not know what to do, so I made everybody clap and I left the stage. And on that day, I cried my eyes out and I called my mom. I said, I hate speaking. This is not for me. I don't ever want to speak. I'm going to find another career. That's not for me. So that was the feeling. But sometimes you have things that choose you. I didn't choose speaking. It chose me. So a couple of months later, I got asked to speak again. I said, okay, pull yourself together. And I did it again. And now I get paid to speak. I spoke at the UPW preview, Alicia Howden preview.
Yeah.
I do my own workshops. One of the biggest gigs I've done recently was in front of 1,200 people. Like literally just over 18 months ago, that I couldn't bring one word out. So it's that power, and I believe everybody has this. This is the reason why I'm certain I can do what I can do, because if I were such a mess, right, and I can turn that around, I believe everybody can do it. I believe everyone can turn their pain into the power, turn their fear into power, turn it as a motivator, use it instead of letting it use you. Yeah. Oh,
that's magic. Use it rather than letting it use you. I think that's just absolutely phenomenal. I just want to go out and say some quick props to who's out there. Mina Villani's joined us. Uttam's on as well. I know Uttam's been sharing this and he's a big supporter of stuff. Michelle's on as well. She's saying, hey, Karmin. Uttam's hashtag Habibi. Joe Magan's joined us. Alex from Boston's joined us as well. A friend of mine, Tamara Endley. Kate Coriani's on. We've got viewers from Australia, the US. I'm just waiting for a few of our buddies from Africa to join us as well. That would be quite good as well. So look, we're with Karmin Meckael here. So guys, if you're out there, if you're watching this, you've got any questions for Karmin about her background, how she's got to where she is today, all about confidence. We're talking about selling, not just selling from a sales perspective, but it's the whole inner philosophy of what it takes to sell, because often enough this is one of the biggest downfalls for anyone that's in business. They have creativity, they have enthusiasm, they have drive, they have will, but when it comes to actually getting a customer or making that sale, or actually even taking words out of your mouth, all of a sudden everything seems to dry up. So we've got a special superpower lady in today to answer some of these questions, so make sure you're asking questions during this show. We're going to be on for at least another 40 to 45 minutes. Karmin, while these questions are coming through for us, you mentioned about how you turned and took fear and pain, and they almost became your adversaries as opposed to your enemies in this respect. We have a lot of people that have confidence issues within themselves. They can have very, very long, productive, successful careers in their lives, but when deep down there's another burning desire, which perhaps their circumstances, whether they've had to move countries, or whether they got married early, or they've had family, or they've sacrificed whatever they've had to sacrifice for their goals. They're now coming around and saying, this is the time, I want to do this. Now, as much as confidence sets itself up as an exterior motive, because the way social media works is we're all always exuding these pillars of confidence and success and everything, it's a very, very small tip of that iceberg. You're a confidence specialist. Tell me something. What are the telltale signs when someone is actually really confident on the outside, but they're really fragile from the inside? How can you start to tell when there's behaviors like this?
So excellent question. Love it, Ketan.
Thank you.
So how do I identify if people are not confident? I know because I have not been confident before. So it is body language. It is your voice of tone. It is energy. A lot of communication that we do is not only verbally and physically, but it's also energy. And especially in a sales conversation, people feel energy. People feel if you come from a desperate place, or from hey, I really want to help you, I really want to serve, I know that I can help you. So but I want to go back to confidence, how you can overcome this, how I overcame it. Is because it's something that I've spent a lot of time also in my workshop to share about, is getting clarity. So the biggest reasons why I wasn't confident is because I didn't have clarity. I wasn't clear of who I am. I'm sure every single person on this planet at some point in their life will ask themselves, who am I? Why am I here? What is my life supposed to be? Where am I supposed to go? Why the heck am I doing what I'm doing? So I, at some point in my life, came to this point and I said, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why am I here? And it's so crucial that we ask ourselves these questions on a constant basis. We ask, why am I here? What am I doing? What's the reason for this? And the really great thing is, when we ask, we receive, right? When you ask the question, you receive. And this is how you get clarity. Now, take away the pressure, okay? You don't need to receive it now. You know, sometimes you don't get the answer in the instant. You will have to just keep asking and trusting that you will get the answer. A lot of times we get answers through people, messengers, through events that are happening, signs, whatever it is. But you will get an answer. What I will encourage everybody, a good place to start is ask questions. It's quality of your questions, right? Ask the questions. Who am I? Why am I here? In your business, I would always encourage people to ask, who am I serving? Why am I in my business? When people tell me, oh, I want to be a speaker. Why? Why the heck do you want to do speaking? Or because I want to inspire people. Why do you want to inspire people?
Yeah,
right?
I think you're touching a really good point, and there's a couple of comments I'm going to take in a second from the feed. It's interesting how you say that. You know, you've got to be at one with yourself. You have to have that clarity for yourself. Not forget everyone else. You know, if you're not clear on your message to yourself, how can you transmit or broadcast clarity to others in that respect? And along with clarity comes, I think, another word: honesty. You know, the whole is this really what you are? Is this, you know? And I love the way that you bring in also this thing about trust, that, you know, we live in a world where instant information, instant gratification, instant, where actually this isn't all about instantaneous or spontaneity. This is all about a journey that you're going to go through. And sometimes what you first start out with, once you start to shred away the inefficiencies of this, the truth really does come out. You know, of this is where it is. So the fact that you're saying to yourself why, and you've got to believe in it yourself before you can move another step forward. I mean, we'll come to conviction and consistency in a second. Let me get a couple of these comments in here, because they're flying in fast today. So as Utam's like, hey Elaine, thank you for joining and supporting my sister Karmin. Jovan's question is, Karmin, my daughter doesn't want to box. How can I persuade her? We'll come to that question in a second. Utam, everything is energy, including money, and yes, money. Jovan's talking about what you were talking in terms of spirituality as well, because it's all about spiritual. Jovan's talking about Springer. I don't know what that means. I think there's a conversation going on in between with Utam, and it's the journey, not the destination, that matters. I see you, and Alex is, Alex Springer's in the house as well. That's what the Springer's all about. So look, we're going to come over to Jovan's thing about the art of persuasion as well, because, you know, what he's talking about is something he wants someone else to do, as opposed to something that's in with himself. Right now we're focusing about inner confidence. I think, you know, it's not something that lives and stays. You know, confidence goes up and down very, very frequently. You can get them in spurts of 5 seconds to 5 hours. How do you, you know, a little bit of advice and tips that you would have, or what's your opinions and views on how to manage confidence?
How to manage confidence? Interesting question. So I would say, I would start with this. A lot of times when we hear the word confidence, and when we ask, okay, who is for you a confident person? So you would say names like Oprah Winfrey, like Richard Branson. So all these amazing leaders, they're confident people, they're projecting. So why are they confident to you? A lot of times people describe sometimes their physical, the way they carry themselves. But the point that I really want to touch on is its internal game. Confidence is an internal game. It has got nothing to do with your beauty, if you're ugly, fat, thin, beautiful, bald, hair, I've got a lot of hair, whatever. It's got nothing to do with that, okay? This may be a bonus if you can work it, but sometimes you see some of the most beautiful people externally, but as soon as you start speaking to them, you can tell they are not confident. Why is that? So when we ask ourselves these questions, it's not really managing confidence. It is more, okay, who am I? It comes back to getting clarity. Who am I? We get confident by knowing who we are and also knowing who we are not. And this is why I talk a lot about attracting. So the biggest person that you need to persuade, the biggest person that you need to sell to is not to other people, it's really to ourselves. So I had to sell myself. This is how I get confidence. Every single morning, I need to sell myself. I'm going to do this. Today's going to be amazing. It's raining, but I don't care. It's going to be freaking... So I need to sell myself on the idea, no matter what, I'm going to be amazing. For me to get to that place, I don't know, maybe some of your viewers felt the same, especially if you're an entrepreneur, it gets tough sometimes, right? Yeah. Like sometimes you don't know how to pay your rent. Sometimes, and this is the times where we get challenged not to be confident. When we lack of money, lack of resources, if we think so. Yeah. This can be the times when we're not confident, but we need to be confident. And that's the times where you need to start building yourself. So for me to be confident, I had, like, God, whatever you believe in, for me, God had to take everything away from me to say, hey, you start from the bottom, okay? And from that place, I had to be grateful and I had to be confident. That's when it's really... So now, I don't care whatever happens. I don't care if my business goes bust, which, touch wood, it will not. But I don't care whatever happens. If you take everything away from me, I will still be confident. I will still be who I am. So it always starts with you.
I think that's really interesting, and let's go to Jovan's question first, and then I've got another question for you. I know Gershom Allen's just joined us, and he's got a question as well. Utan's just leaving us because I think he's going off to do his live, but thanks for coming on. Jasmine Hartz is in as well. She's talking about everyone is confident, but people forget to believe in themselves. Jules Meckael, I'm assuming that's your sister.
That's my sister.
She's in. She's giving you props as well. So Jovan was talking about the fact that he wants to persuade his daughter to box, but I don't think she wants to. His question was, how would I persuade her to do something? Now, so we're talking now about the art of actually building confidence in someone else as opposed to believing in themselves. What's your take on this and the fact that, I mean, I've got kids as well, and I'm a bit more of a free floater in the fact that I let my kids do or work on or engage in whatever they feel they're passionate about and they want to do. If that means it's going to change as much as they change their underwear or the weather changes, then so be it. But Jovan's been a bit more specific here. What's your take or your advice on how to handle confidence and persuasion and stuff like that?
Awesome. Jovan, to answer your question, it's my question for you, Jovan, would be, why do you want to get your daughter into boxing? I would ask you this in the first place. Why? I assume, okay, from knowing you, because I know you personally as well, that you have your best interest for your daughter. And you know that boxing is going to give her confidence because it gave you confidence. You are a professional boxer. So I know Jovan, he is a professional boxer, and I know he's got his best interests. And this is why he wants to persuade her to do boxing. But persuasion is all about effective communication. So a lot of times we think communication is about us talking, but real effective communication is us listening. So I would ask her questions. I would ask her questions, show interest in her instead of forcing something to her, to actually really understand her why she doesn't want to do boxing, or why when you bring up the subject of boxing, what resistance comes back to her. And it's more once you understand, once you let that all out from her, you can then understand where she's coming from, and that's the point where you can start showing the benefits, because that's when she's open to listen to you. Now she's not open to listen to you. I hope that answered your question, Jovan. If you can type it in the comments.
Well, actually, talk about synchronicity in terms of timing as well. Jovan's just come back and said, look, self-confidence and self-love. He goes, he wants her to play sports and doesn't want to for her to spend so much time on her phone and makeup and frankly the other side of it is, and you know what, props to you, Jovan, he said he's scared. So I think, you know, there's part of this is coming through a little bit of fear of what's going to happen moving forward. So what's your sort of take on that?
Awesome. Well, Jovan, again, this is the one thing, so effective communication asking, but also it's us being example, and I'm not only attacking Jovan, it's just general.
Yeah.
So we can't tell anybody to do anything if we don't do it ourselves. So it's us continuously playing that example, and by us sharing, like, I can't tell if I have a daughter, I can't tell my daughter stop watching TV if I watch TV, right?
Yeah.
So
it's double standards.
Yes, we have to be the example consistently, and with that comes, we need to be patient, because a lot of times we want things now and we have fear, but that energy translates as well. She will feel that fear as well.
Yeah.
So you have to come from a non-fear place, from a pure love place, and trusting that you're going to be the right example, you will do the right thing, and then she will be attracted to it. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes very, very good sense. I think the catalyst there is about the patience, and I think it's also the reflection and mirroring, you know, the setting the examples and stuff like this. I mean, there are a couple of questions coming in which are very similar, so I'm gonna group these guys. So Gershom and Michelle have both kind of asked similar questions on the basis of how do people lose confidence, and are you born with confidence? So how do you want to answer this one?
It's awesome. I love it. You know, I was co-hosting very recently an event, the personal development event of the year, and my co-host, the guy that I was hosting with, the name is Jermaine Harris.
Yes, I know Jermaine.
Yes, he's got a beautiful little son. I don't know, maybe a year old or something. Beautiful little son, and obviously he can't proper speak yet. He can't express himself yet. But he put him on camera. And he asked him on camera in front of everyone, "Are you afraid of speaking?" And he was just being a kid, right? He was just being a baby. So that tells me, okay, that if you put any baby in front of a stage or in front of a camera, we are not scared of this. It all comes on, the reason why we are fearful of, it's because we are feared of rejection. We are feared of not feeling loved or not feeling enough. And this is a simple way you can turn it around. Again, it's starting with you, building yourself. Ask this question, who am I? And so I believe all of us, we are born loved. We are born enough, even if some of us think, oh, it's not fair, I was born into this family, whatever. But it's not the family. We are born whole. So over the time, that wholeness gets stripped away, and people and challenges are telling us what we are not. But we have to pull it all together and remind ourselves on a daily basis who we are.
I think the other thing to add to this, Karmin, is the fact that actually when we are born, you know, in our own happiness. You know, Naraya Carry-On was on, you know, last year, and she was talking about that, you know, as long as you're fed and watered, you're happy as a child in that respect. I think influences around us, the media, the way in which our friends, community, our peers and everything builds around us, I think that's where fear and standards and benchmarking starts to become more and more part of our maturity. You know, the can and cannots, you should and shouldn't. And as a result of this, all of a sudden what happens is you start to, you know, if you're told constantly within an environment, you shouldn't, it's like you, it's the other way. You're the one like, I don't want to go. And your parents like, go. You know, it's kind of it's normally society is built the other way around, where it holds you down rather than you holding yourself down in that respect. But the more society pushes you around that, the more you become battered and bruised in that environment, and that's what you kind of mold into. So the fear factor, you know, I think also has, we've just lost Karmin's video for a second, but I'm sure she'll be back very, very shortly.
I'm sorry, 1 second, give me 1 second, I'll be back.
But so you understand what I'm talking about in the sense of society has this environment as we grow. So when I think to answer the question in what Karmin's saying, guys, here, is that confidence is, you are born with confidence. You're probably not, you probably don't realize it, you probably don't know, you're not conscious to it. But as we evolve and, as humans and as we grow, society around us pushes so many of these different parallels that it can tone or change the way in which you see confidence, your fear.
Yes.
But the killer spear that Karmin's saying here, guys, is keep asking yourself that question: who am I? Who am I not? What is it that I want? What is it that I don't need? In my life. There are comments flying in thick and fast. I've got to get back here. You are absolutely killing it today. Joe Man said great advice, and he's going to give it all a go. Alex Springer is saying lead by example. That's exactly where we were at. Gershom Allen says confidence comes from knowing who you are. Knowing you are is about being connected to your creator and that you were created. Then you'll understand that no human is greater or better than anyone. Great show, keep up the great work. Thanks, guys. Jasmine Hart, I love the show, thank you very much. She's talking about she's just started boxing. She's only 12 years old. I enjoy boxing because it's the way to do, I can learn to dance and fight in life. It's a very good for coordination conditioning. Thanks, Jasmine, for sharing that. Edgar from Guatemala, I'll see you when I come out there for a part of my speaking tour soon. I'm quite certain it's got to be regarding the theme, to live is the real deal. Alex Springer's giving props and applause. Jasmine's talking about ego. I'm going to come back to that one in a second because it's one of the questions I was going to ask you. Chat and Josh is saying, hey, long time, great words of wisdom. Are there any top tips to building confidence in a large situation with strangers? So look, you do a bit of both here, Karmin. You work with people on their inner confidence, about building their self-confidence, and you also about their self-worth into the sales environment. What sort of tips would you have for someone that's kind of working in a very large, pressured environment, and in particular with strangers that they're not really familiar with?
Awesome. Just to give you a little bit of a story on how I got into sales, right? Because selling is all about getting out of our comfort zone and speaking to strangers.
Yeah.
So I have started in sales. I was working in the events industry for that largest events promoting company behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I was quite comfortable there. I was like, okay, I've kind of now, and I achieved my dreams. I'm working in the events industry. I'm working with so amazing people, and I'm kind of good. But then my ex-boss at the time, he came to me and he said, I want you to do selling. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. He said, no, I want you to do sales. And I said, I hate selling. I don't like salespeople. And I think they're sleazy. And I want to be liked by people. I don't want to be the person that people hate. So this is my perception. That's how I started in sales. So if you don't like talking to people, talking to strangers, or feeling that selling is like very pressure, it is very sleazy, I know how it feels, and this is how I started. So he handed me this book called How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. Read the book in the morning. Literally, this is how I started sales. I read the book in the morning, and I did something that most people don't do. I applied what was in the book. So I was picking up the phone from the tube, going to the office, picking up the phone and applying the things that I actually learned. Yeah. And it started to work. On a consistent basis, it started to work. Then I became addicted. I was like, whoa, this is fun. I like this. And the other side, of course, at the beginning, I got a lot of rejections, but I read that in the book that you will get a lot of rejections. So I was kind of anticipating the rejections. I knew that it will come to me. So within 3 months, started in selling, I became one of the top performers in the company. And then after, it's like, okay, now I'm making so much money for this company. I wonder what would happen if I would do it for myself. So I left the company at my highest. I was one of the top earners there. So I was creating massive success, massive influence, and it was fun. I had really enjoyed it, but it was time for me to move on. So went out, did a couple of other businesses, and applied the same. So I know that if you make a conscious choice that you have a reason. So the biggest sale that I had to make when I started, the reason why I was passionate to do it as well, I sold it myself. So before I started to work for that company, I bought one of the packages. So I felt the customer journey. I know that they are putting in investment. So I would recommend you, if you're putting yourself out there, your confidence comes as well. If you're not fully in alignment with who you are, if you're talking about something that you don't believe in, then it will show. So if you're a network marketer and you don't buy your own products, why would you go out there to other people and sell them your products? You know?
Definitely. I hear you. Actually, just piling into that really, really quickly. I know the questions come up about what was the book. It was How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. We'll put it we'll put it back onto the feed a bit later on for anyone that wants to get that book. But one thing that you actually mentioned in there, well, actually two things distinctively. It's you went through the customer journey, so you understood the emotions and what the trials and tribulations that people go through. So when you said earlier on today about confidence is about listening, and the inner confidence and about the development is all about listening and the art of communication. I think this is your first listening skill that you're building up. The empathy and the sympathy that would-be customers going to be going through. You've experienced it. So now it's not just about having a belief in the product. You've also got this emotional intelligence that goes alongside this, which actually makes the process no longer a process. You're no longer selling, you're conversing, you're telling a story, you're sharing an experience. And the bit that I also latched on very, very quickly within what you said there is you start to actually enjoy it. You see, when you first started, you said, I hate sales. You kind of put a stigma against it, and it's like the enemy. I think unconsciously, the more you start to enjoy it, that's how your performance starts to go. So I think, again, for anyone that's out there that's put in that predicament of having to make pressured sales, stop pressurizing yourself in the sale. I think take Karmin's advice here. Take the advice. Go through the customer journey. Do you want to add something there?
I would love to add something. I want to give you something practical that you can do right now that can help you to redefine your way of selling. So if you have any negative emotion around selling, you need to get rid of it, because every single person, even if you're self-professional or not, if you're a kid, you're selling to your parents to buy an ice cream, right? So you're selling constantly. So the way that I want to help you to overcome this is by redefining what you mean by selling. So the definition of sales. So for me, when I overcame it, I associated selling with serving. If the people didn't buy, I knew that they were missing out, because I knew what benefit I had when I attended this event, what great impact. So selling is really serving. If you're not putting yourself out there, if you have an amazing product, an amazing service, an amazing message, and you're not putting yourself out there, you're not communicating what you have, why? You are selfish. I'm sorry, I'm being very real.
You are don't worry, this is the League of Disruptor show. This is the place where you drop bombs, and you are dropping some serious bombs, so keep going.
I get very passionate about this, because it makes me frustrated to see people that are amazing, they have great stuff, but they're afraid to put themselves out there. And I would say to you, you're selfish, okay? Maybe we need to have that talk. You are very selfish, because what you have can change people's lives, right? What you have can benefit people's life. So it's just a matter of learning how to communicate that. And everybody can learn how to communicate. Until today, my English is not perfect. As a matter of fact, I'm dyslexic, and I'm currently writing a book that's going to be a bestseller because I'm speaking it into existence. So why? How come a girl that is dyslexic, that can't even speak proper English, got fired from her first job, now creating influence, impact, and income? I can do it. You can do it, but you have to take responsibility and take charge to learn it. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We've got some more people that are joining us. Jenny Garrett's on again. It's nice to see you. Well, I can't see you, but it's nice for you to be on with us. Tamara Endley says that we're born innocent. Jasmine Hart's been talking about parent, build, or destroy us. So it's a fine line between how society works. Tamara goes on to say, experience of childhood and life have allowed us to develop fear against different situations. Ask Elena, I think, this is so enlightening. So we get Jasmine Hart's come back in. Every adult has a kid within them. Michelle Raymond, if you don't have confidence, you'll always find a way to lose. We're going to come back to that point in a second. Right, Jovan Young, keep it up, champ. Alex Springer, the environments we grow in and spend time in shape us mentally. Tamara and Lee, we catalogue experiences and how we react to them. And when it comes up again, we use our fight and flight to keep us safe and secure. We need to change our mindsets and not allow our egos to rule. We're coming to egos in a second. You guys are all in sync with me today. This is amazing. Robert Dean Smith has joined us as well. Jasmine Hart's back in school. They now teach us public speaking and how to sell yourself, because you are the best produce in life. Michelle's gone on to say, what's your views on selling from stage? We're going to come to that question in a second, Michelle. And Jasmine has also said, I'm dyslexic too. We are magic people. So there was a question that I wanted to ask you about 6 minutes ago, but we as we do with this show, we digress, we diverse, we disrupt.
Love it.
Confidence, inner confidence. Yes. There is a fine line between ego or being seen arrogant and confident. How do you measure this, and how do you, as an individual and a professional, create that balance so you're not seen to be egotistical or you're not seen to be arrogant? Or does that not matter in your world?
Oh, amazing. Great question. I had to go through that experience as well, where I was making a lot of money when I was doing that sales job, and ego came in. So I was like, oh, I can do this, I can afford it. So it's like, and I stopped growing at that time. I was like, I became comfortable, right? So that was a very painful lesson, because when that happened, very shortly after, I got everything again taken away from me. So I got broke, and I had to build myself up from there. So the only thing that I will have to say about this is, again, it's knowing who you're serving, knowing why you're doing what you're doing. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I felt the pain what my clients are feeling, right? I felt the pain of being rejected. I felt the pain of feeling not loved, feeling not worthy, feeling that I'm not enough, feeling that I'm broke, whatever. I felt all that pain. And I have found a way to overcome this. So it's a responsibility. It becomes a responsibility that I can show you the way, I can show you how I can help you. So when it comes from that genuine serving place, genuine giving place, that ego is not there. Genuine love, genuine care for people. Money, it is, I always say as well, it is important as an entrepreneur. If you're in business, you need to make money. Yes, you need to create income, you need to grow. But you also need to create the reason why you're doing. So one of the reasons why I loved selling, when I started out in that company in sales, when I was talking to this person, I knew they needed to come to this event. I knew that this event will change their life, but I also knew they didn't have the finances at the time.
Yeah.
So with the persuasion skills, I got him to do that. Kind of pushed him. I was like, I know this is going to be amazing for you. Do whatever it takes. So he went out, he borrowed the money, he made it happen. He came to the event. And 1 year later, he sent me an email. He said, you know what? If you wouldn't have pushed me to do this event, I have completely changed my life now. Thank you so much. And he just showed gratitude. And when I get these messages from people, when I say thank you, that reminds me again, why am I doing what I'm doing? And this is where the ego goes away. I always say, the more I do, the more I want to do. It's like the more I give, the more I want to give. And when ego comes in a way, it's, I don't know how you grow when you have ego. I don't know, because it's.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I think it's very much a perceptional thing from outside. I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things that if you let an external society think you're continuously tell you you're egotistical, you're arrogant, it's like piercing holes back into I'm going to say it metaphorically, your confidence shield. And I think that's when one would start to question themselves, am I being egotistical? I think passion, drive, enthusiasm sometimes can be, even I can be seen to be egotistical and arrogant at times at the end of the day, but my duty isn't to actually to serve everyone. My duty is to actually reach the people that I'm destined to reach. And I think it's a journey again where there are people, people need their own time to understand what you mean to them, what value you serve to them, for them to then start coming in. So, at the beginning I could think you're egotistical, but right now I could think you're awesome in that respect. But it's the journey I have to take. I think there's never going to be a level where everyone switches on and off and say, oh, there's ego, oh, there's confidence, oh, there's arrogance.
Yes.
There's always going to be a wave there. There's always going to be a wave, and that's what democracy is. That's what human life. The whole world is built on all of these kind of energies and stuff like that. So I think what you bring is quite amazing, guys.
But you're right.
Sorry,
Ketan, but you're absolutely right. There is a fine line between ego and confidence, and a lot of people get it mixed up. And I think I see when the people see, if I see you're egoistic or you're a bad person, we are reflections of each other, right? So it's like, okay, why am I seeing this person? If I see you are a confident person, it's because I am confident. So it's like we are also mirroring each other. If we always go out there, I always encourage people, always find the best in a person. Even if a person criticizes you, whatever, always try to find the best in a person, because at the end of the day, if you see something that is egoistic in another person, it's because there's something inside of you that you have it as well. So I know there's a fine line. That's
really interesting, that is. That if you find something which is egotistical in someone else, it's probably something that's deeply seated within you as well. That's really deep. Wow. It's on that point. I think obviously sometimes people rebel and reflect based on fear or the fact that they don't have what you want and stuff like this. I think it's not that whole don't hate the player, hate the game. I think it's about don't hate the player, change the game. And that's what I say. I say, if you don't hate me because I'm in this. But at the same time, if you want it on your terms, you've got every opportunity to go and change the game. So
I'm going to put that as my status tomorrow and in reference.
Don't hate the player, change the game. That's the one.
Write that down.
So while you're doing that, let me just take some. There are more comments coming through. Utum's back. He's like, it's not your thought which stops you from achieving, or achieving not your circumstances. Jasmine's ego is good when what you do is for the greater good. Tamara Enley goes on, you operate from your genius, greatness, super consciousness, higher being, truth to serve from the heart for the great of others. Love this all. Raquel Moore's come on, event to help build your net of friends, basically. So building more and more of your network. Jasmine, different people have different times, and I think that's reflecting the fact of when they come into your life and how they see you. We need to see everyone with love. Everyone seen with love makes it much more proactive. Raquel's fear only is playing with your mind. We've just actually hit at that point. Guys, we have got Karmin on for only 13 more minutes. Can you believe it, Karmin?
Time is flying.
We are smashing through this. So we've been talking about inner confidence. We've been talking about selling yourself, and it's not a case of, we're not talking about the selling of the word itself. Is how do you bring yourself up? How do you broadcast yourself? How do you transmit the energy that you build? We have Karmin Meckael, specialist in inner confidence, someone who came from another country, came to this country not by choice but almost by force, lost her first job literally on the first day because she didn't know what not fork and knife was, to someone today who is serving hundreds and thousands of people, who's helping people build the confidence from within and being able to broadcast and sell themselves. So I'm going to come back to Michelle's question, which was a little bit earlier. It's a little bit relevant. I've been a trainer for UPW myself for the Tony Robbins stuff, and I know how that pressure environment can be. You're intense. The room's full with 300 people. You're up on stage. You've got 3 hours. You're washing this, and then it's the whole back of the room. Get in there, do this kind of thing. I have to be really honest. When I came on to do the UPW preview, I find it very hard to sell off stage in the sense that I'm not the kind of person that wants to put a 20-minute timed offer and push. In fact, I'm not saying that that's unorthodox or it's unemotional or emotive or whatever, immoral, whatever you want. It's just not designed in me. I'm more of someone that kind of can see through and know. While customers know what they want, I know exactly what they need. Now, Michelle's question is about what are your views about selling from stage? Because in my opinion, it's my show, so I'm going to give my opinion first, then I'm going to come to you. My opinion is it worked, and back in the day, there was a time and place for it. About 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I think over time, people are becoming more and more aware of it, conscious of it. I think that there is still a place for it with certain things, but I don't think it should be a conventional thing that needs to happen. I don't think you should be selling from stage. If you've done your job right, if you're on stage, you wouldn't have to sell a thing in that respect. But that's just my opinion. Karmin, over to you. What's your views on selling from stage?
I love that you said that. To be honest with you, when I first time saw same feeling like you had, I didn't feel comfortable because I knew the pressure that was behind. Oh my God, there's so much money that has been put for this event, and now I need to make it work. So, there was that kind of pressure, and I was like, but then I had to remind myself again, why am I doing this? And I loved what you said earlier. You said I'm not selling to everybody. I'm selling, I know my people, you have your people, and this is the people that you want to serve.
Yes.
So it's the same, I'm coming from that same place, and I think this is what gives me the confidence. That's where you start to go from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. And when you really tell yourself, you know what, there's so many people. I'm actually going to give you a great example. Oh my goodness, this is brilliant. When I worked in that events company, we did an event in Excel for 10,000 people, and there were 10,000 people in the room, and I was at the back with the CEO. We had a conversation, and I said to him, oh my God, look at what you have created. Look at the job that we did. We have 10,000 people in the room. Everybody is inspired. Everybody will take, it's really amazing, great energy. And he said to me, it doesn't matter. Only very few people will actually take action on this. I don't remember the number, but approximately literally only 1% will be long-term successful. They will actually take this information, be long-term successful.
Yes.
So if I go anywhere, I don't sell to everybody. I will inspire everybody. I will raise the energy. I will make an impact. But I won't sell to everybody. I know that this information is for certain people who I can really serve, who I can really help. When you come with that confidence, you take away that fear of I have to sell. Yeah. And when I did this, when I was having a really big sales target in that company, I had to do. There was a lot of pressure. I took that pressure. I forgot about it. I was like, why am I doing this? These events are helping people. Yeah. I'm just going to get on the phone and just when I changed that mindset, the sales was coming to me. So I know some people have got a reservation around selling from stage because some in the industry have represented it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. We are here to disrupt, right? And we're here to disrupt the market and to bring a fresh weight into it. So now the way I do it from stage, because I'm not selling to everybody, I don't sell. I actually don't sell. I just say it's every of my workshops is by application only, and this way I know who are the people that are coming to me. I gave them value, but now it's their turn to come to me, so I'm not pushing anything.
See, that's the beauty of it, and exactly what Michelle's just said, that she loves that. Inspire all, sell to some. In fact, I think, what you say there, because it's done with conviction, it's done from the heart, it's done from all natural purposes, and this is the very same thing that I have when I'm on stages. I mean, I go along the world. I don't, most of my presentations don't have a back offer at the end of them. All there is sometimes some contact information, because actually I don't want the whole room to come to me and say, I want to buy you. I'm not in the volume game in that business. I will do my volumes over time. My company has helped over 500,000 people around the world, through the training programs.
That's awesome.
Piece by piece, inch by inch, that we've done this in this respect. But when I'm on a stage, whether I've got 5 people or 5,000 people, I want them to focus on what I have to tell them. I want them to understand where I'm coming from. If in that process they feel inspired that they want to work with me, that's their choice, not my prerogative on them.
I love this.
You
Absolutely.
See, I think this is the bit that people kind of get wrong when it comes to selling. You see, it's not my prerogative to sell to you. It's my prerogative to inspire you, to show you the value. It's your prerogative to see that and say, I want it. So You see, that's why, you know, with personal clients, I only have a handful. With my group clients, I only have a handful. I do things in small blocks because it's more vibrant, it's more contextual, it's more rich, it's more it has more deliverable, and it manifests better. From my perspective. So, you know, I think this whole thing about selling from stage, and even just on a physical sale thing, I think what people get into their block is, I've got a target I've got to hit, I've got to get 5 units out. It doesn't matter what I say to these people, I've got to say whatever it takes. It's wrong. It's not whatever it takes to make them buy, it's whatever it takes to help them understand. And I think the first thing, you know, I'm sure you'd advocate that the first thing that a consumer wants is to be understood.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, they need to feel heard. They need to feel that they are cared for. They need to feel that what you have to offer is really going to help them. And this is the place that you always come from. This is where they will come to. How can I pay you? How can I? You don't need to speak. They consciously made a decision. I don't. People come to me, which is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I put in the work, but I don't really push anything. People say, I'm ready, please. And it's just like, wow, that is amazing. So this is the kind of place that you want to be. If you're really good at what you do, just concentrate and focus on how we can help, how you can help people, how you can get them results, get them into action, get them to apply the content, not only give them the content, but how you're going to stay in track with them, how they're going to apply your content. When they really feel that care, this is when it's done, and they will refer you people, and this is how you're going to grow and explode.
It's kind of ironic, because the whole process of the way you would sell actually is by putting confidence into the customer. So we've talked about confidence, and we've talked about sales in this kind of respect, but it's that injection of confidence that this is the right thing to do. I get a lot of, I think the motivation or the expectation that I put out on myself is, I need people to come up to me at the end of a talk and say, I think you're the right person for me, or I believe that I can work with you. And that's all I need. Whatever we're going to work on, it's immaterial. I don't need to do a deal there and then. I just need to know that person's ready in their mind to work with me, because if they're not, then it's a bit like what you said about, you know, when you were the CEO of that company at the back of the room, 10,000 people in the room, less than 1% will take action. Well, Tony Robbins cost about $1 million as a coach. You can spend $1 million and have Tony, but if you're not ready to apply, if you're not ready to apply, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? We are running fast out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Here we have 3 minutes left, and so Michelle's saying yes. Ken, how you can inspire at 12-year-old and when you have an age limit? I think what Jasmine's trying to say there is, how can you inspire if you're at 12? Listen, Jasmine, it doesn't matter how old you are. Go and check out a guy called Warren Ryan. Okay. He's got the Fearless Speaking Academy. I know if you're not here in the UK, just go and check it out. He also does a Young Fearless. There's actually, if there's anyone that I want you to go and follow, Jasmine, go and look, search on Facebook for Inspiring Vanessa. I've had her on the show. She's only 12 herself, 11, 12 years old, and she is on stage and she is rocking and she's inspiring people. You know, her first book wasn't Jack and the Beanstalk or Topsy and Tim, it was Rich Dad Poor Dad. So it's kind of, you know, you can take spirit from young people around you that are doing these things already. Michelle's like, thanks guys, great interview. Carmen, love you, chick. She's got to go.
Love you too.
Thank you, Michelle. I'll see you on Thursday. Michelle Raymond's going to be in the house on Thursday with me as well. Tomorrow end is like full of the hearts. But we are now coming to the end of time. But before I go, Karmin, you've dropped some serious bombs today. You've given so much insight into your personal story about how you've got to where we are, and you know we are deeply gratitude of you know, doing all of this. How can people connect with you? I mean, I know that you've got a lot of fans out this way as well, but you know, for anyone that's watching this afterwards, pre-recorded, you know, how can they connect with you? And do you have any sort of programs or anything that you're doing that people can apply to come in where you can help them on confidence?
Amazing. Yeah, very simple. You can add me on everywhere, Instagram, my official Facebook, or my personal Facebook, Karmin TV. So Karmin TV, I'm also a host of a show called Karmin TV, where I create influence, impact, and income. So I give free resources. My workshops are very intimate, so it's by application only. It's not for everybody. So this is why the free resource would be good for you. But if you're more interested to learn about the art of persuasion, how to attract your ideal clients, if you have a product or service or message that you want to share with the world, but just need to learn the art of persuasion, how to attract your ideal clients, very simple, just send me a private message and tell me what you're passionate about, and we'll take it from there.
So there you have it, guys. You know, I'm going to be putting all the links into the feed a bit later on, once Karmin gets it through. But look, you know, take the first step, take the initiative. You know, if you feel like something's holding you back, it probably is. It is probably holding you back. And you know, having someone like Karmin there who's ready to listen, but also ready to hustle you into actually making sure that you blow out all of this inefficiency, understand who you are as an individual, get the clarity, and get that confidence. Don't worry about the sale, because when you have clarity and confidence, everything else works itself out.
Boom.
Karmin Meckael, we have to salute you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and on behalf of the League of Disruptors, we wish you the very best in 2017. And that's a wrap, guys. 2017 is off to a hitter. We've got some serious bombs. The next one up is Raymond on Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's not one to be missed, because we're going to be talking about how you know, where we've moved from inner confidence and all about sales, and how to sell yourself to into getting into that opportunity. Michelle has a lot of background in HR and human management in terms of that respect, so it's not one to be missed. But for now, my name's Ketan Makwana. This is the League of Disruptors show, and I'll see you guys again very soon.